Got another Sony Betamax to work on. This one's an SLHF300, and the complaint on this one is it will not load. You push the tape in, it goes in, it sits there for a few seconds, and it kicks the tape out. Quite a common problem on this, real easy fix. Check it out. This time I have a Sony. This is a Beta Hi-Fi. This is a SLHF300, not a Super Beta, just Beta Hi-Fi, and it does not feature a stereo tuner. This one only had a monaural tuner. So to record stereo, you either needed to do it as a simulcast or you had to have an outboard stereo decoder. This one here, the complaint on this one is it accepts the tape, does not load, and then ejects. That's the complaint on this. Let's pull the top off this one first and see whether it actually does anything. So I'm actually shooting this without the house lights on. There's no lights on in the workshop, just the only lights on in here are the actual studio lights. Which is a couple of LEDs on either side and a couple of CFLs above and behind me. But the main lights in the workshop are out, so it might look a little different. It's quite dark in here other than the bench. The bench is lit up bright as day, but everything else around me is dark. Okay, so first things first. Let's plug this in and watch what it does. Okay, the solenoid is operational. Tape's going down, but it's not going into loading mode. And that typically indicates that the cassette down switch is not working. The cassette down switch is a little mechanical switch right down here that signals when the tape is down. You see the two switches down in here? One of those two switches is the one that detects whether the cassette erasure protection tab has been broken, and the other one detects if the tape goes down. So how we can force one of these mechanisms to load without a tape in it is to actually drop the mechanism and then hit that switch, and I bet you that switch is dirty. So let's try loading the mechanism manually. How you do that on one of these machines is you push down the little lock here so that you can push, and then let's just activate that switch and see whether that switch will work. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a second. The mechanism's in the loaded position. No wonder. Look at the guide pins. I didn't even notice that. The guide pins are in the loaded position. I know what the problem is already. If we look down here, you'll notice that there's a spring that's come off here. This gets pulled into position when the cassette's unloaded. It moves this little end sensor so that the coil points towards this little post. Normally, when the tape is loaded, this is pulled up like that. This little spring has come off. This is what's going on with this one. This is what determines that the machine is in the loaded position. And that little spring normally is held back. That's a little pin that's probably broken off. It goes right there. That's where it is. There's a little plastic catch that was used to stick up. There's a little plastic tab there, and it's broken off. And that holds this like that. So if I take that spring and I stick it down through that hole, that should fix this machine. See if you guys can see it without me getting in the way. Like that. So that spring is held in place. Now when I apply power, the mechanism should unload, and when I put the tape in, it should load up properly. What do you bet it works? Now bear in mind this is the tape that's got the erased portion, so it's going to probably break up every 10 seconds. There's a tracking control on here. Tracking. It works. So that's all that was wrong with this one. Yep, another one fixed. Nice simple fix. How these operate is that little sensor here. This is the tape end sensor. So when the tape is being rewound, it detects the metal leader to stop, but it's also doing double duty. When the mechanism completes the unload cycle, the retracting pinch roller will activate a little lever that moves this, and it points this pickup coil towards this main post here, which tells the machine that it's in the eject mode and that can then eject the cassette. So if I hit the eject button, watch what happens. Okay, and there it turns, and that's what signals the system that the tape is in the unloaded position so that it then knows to eject the cassette. That little plastic tab breaks, and when that happens, it doesn't return the spring back, or the spring stays in this position. The lever that controls it's right down here, behind here. It catches it. There's a little cog that catches it and pulls it into position. Anyway, that's what goes wrong on these machines. I'm going to clean the heads on this. I don't think I really need to cover that. If you guys are desperate to see me cleaning heads, because we've done that 100 times before. But this is a good one to put that one in your back pocket for when you have one of these beta machines, because these machines are getting up there in the years. This plastic injection molded, it's like a nylon, is cracking and breaking, and the little pin, pin that stuck up from there that was clipped to broke, but at least we're able to put it down into the hole. It'll never break again, because now even if this plastic completely breaks, it's going to be hooked onto the metal chassis. Anyway, that's it for another one. This is another short and quick video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified of my newest videos.